Hey, what's going on, everybody? Look, welcome back to another episode of the Determined CEO podcast. I'm super excited to have you all hanging out with me again this Friday morning, you all, or whenever you are actually listening to this podcast, you all, just for your information. I post up a new podcast every Friday morning. So go ahead, subscribe to iTunes, subscribe to Amazon, subscribe to wherever you listen to your podcast at, and make sure you get weekly updates in regards to the new and upcoming episodes that we have going on. So, that being said, you all, we are in a series called The Becoming of an Entrepreneur. Now, that being said, I'm going to have to put that on pause. And there is a really important reason why I have to put that on pause. Now, for those who know me, you know I'm here to bring value around business development, but I'm also here to bring value around diversity and inclusion within the workspace, showing individuals how diversity and inclusion not only drives culture for a company, but it also drives financial impact and innovation impact. And with that being said, you all, I have a very interesting topic today that I have to talk about because I was a bit offended by the particular statement made by an individual. Now, I'm not going to go crazy or anything in this particular podcast episode. This episode is simply for education and hopefully a new way of thinking for many individuals who might think this way. This surely does not apply to everybody, but I do believe my voice needs to be heard in this particular ordeal. And I would love to have you all's opinion on this matter. So, again, you all, welcome to the podcast. If some of you all are looking at the video version of this particular episode, this is something new that I'm doing. We're going to be doing videos moving forward. You all, you're going to get the authentic me. You're going to see my mishaps, all of these things, you all. I want you all to see me for the Determined CEO. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this conversation, you all. I'm not going to have you long today. Look, the Wells Fargo CEO made a comment, you all, that highly offended me. And the comment, you all, simply says, while it might sound like an excuse, the unfortunate reality is that there is a very limited pool of black talent to recruit from. Okay, let's digest what was said. Let's think. Now let me repeat. The Wells Fargo CEO said, while it might sound like an excuse, the unfortunate reality is that there is a very limited pool of black talent to recruit from. So, let me first say from experience, you all, that I have been blessed to be able to acquire some jobs I know for a fact I did not qualify for. I was able to acquire jobs that I know I did not have the required talent that someone else had. But because I had something that particular organization favored, I was chosen for that job. And here's the thing, you all. When I got onto that job, I excelled at what it was that I needed to do. Was I the best person by far? Maybe not. But I definitely wasn't the worst. And when I think of that, I think to myself, I am a young black man who has many challenges that other ethnicities might not have. I'm not going to say they don't, because I do believe everyone has their own challenges, right? Right. But that being said, I do believe that as a black man, a young black man, I experience specific challenges that otherwise some people might, if not will never have to go through. And so I'm looking at this statement that the Wells Fargo CEO said. I'm like, man, this hurts because if I was able to acquire some of these opportunities in my short-lived lifetime, you know, I can only imagine for the individuals, the black men, the black women who are out there killing the game. They are knowledgeable in their fields. They are talented in their fields. They're experienced in their fields. And yet the comment was said that there is a very limited pool of black talent to recruit from. I am offended because I know that's a lie. I am offended because I know of black men and women who are more talented than I to be able to fill so many different roles. And while I don't know the exact position that Wells Fargo is trying to fill, I am confident enough to say that there are many, not one, not two, not three, but many black men and women who are talented enough, who are experienced enough, who are knowledgeable enough to be able to meet and exceed the requirements, the duties, the tasks of whatever Wells Fargo has laid out. Why? Because any and everybody is capable of meeting and exceeding goals. Here's the thing. You just have to put people into the position in order for them to what? Meet and exceed those goals. See, let's give an example, you all. This is actually a big thing for me. So, one of the things that I hate the most about jobs, right? I'm talking about when I have to go and apply for jobs. The one thing that I hate the most is when they say, well, you don't have enough experience, or you have more than enough experience, or I'm sorry, you have more experience needed. You're overqualified, as they will say, or whatever fancy way they want to say it so it doesn't seem so bad, right? But I hate it because you don't know exactly what you could be passing up due to the fact of lack of experience. See, here's the thing. Let's take this for example, you all. And don't get me wrong. This might and most likely does not apply to every industry because there are some industries you need both knowledge and experience before I allow you to be hired in a particular position. For example, a doctor. I'm not going to hire someone to be a surgeon who has no experience whatsoever to do a heart transplant or whatever, and they don't have that experience or the knowledge behind it. But in this particular case, let's take it for Wells Fargo, right? We know Wells Fargo is in the financial industry, a banking institution, right? So, like I said, I don't know the exact position that Wells Fargo is trying to hire for, but let's just go very simple with the position, right? So let's take a banker, a universal banker, or a business development manager, right? I'm like I said, I'm going to get real simple with it. Business development manager, the main core job of that individual is to go out, establish new relationships with businesses, and make them potential and valuable customers for Wells Fargo. Okay? Again, this is real simple or high level, however you want to look at it. I'm not going to get too deep into this. I'm just getting a real basic with it. So, that's the role of the person. Now, you have an individual here, right? Who comes from, let's say they come from a sales background. They came from, let's say, retail, right? They were working at Old Navy's, H&M, whatever, for, let's just say, 6 to 7 years, right, in sales. They made it to the management role, but they are ready to change their careers, and they want to go into banking, and they feel like they are qualified to act out the duties of this business development manager role. Well, Wells Fargo says, well, you don't have enough experience for this particular role. And you know what? We decided to move to someone who had the experience. Now, while that might sound great to many, here's my problem with it. My problem is, and maybe this is just the young side of me talking, right? But if I don't have the experience now, but you see I'm eager to learn and that I'm eager to do the job, how will I ever gain the experience if you don't give me the opportunity to do so? I'll say it again. How do you expect me to gain experience around a particular focus when you don't give me the opportunity to do so? Look, you all, this is a question that I've been asking for so many years. And it's frustrated me so deeply because I, again, understand the value that so many people bring into this world. And then you have a CEO from Wells Fargo saying that there are not enough black people, black men and women who are talented enough to pull from, to recruit from. That hurts because I know they're there. And here's the question then I am going to ask. What are you really doing as an organization? And more importantly, what are you doing as a CEO to even position yourself to be able to secure the applicant pool, the relationships needed to acquire your so-called desired targeted audience? So what do I mean by that? So let's go with another story, you all. For those who are familiar of St. Louis, Missouri, we have a particular area here called Chesterfield, Missouri. For those who know Chesterfield, Missouri, and you know of North County and North City, St. Louis, you understand that North City, St. Louis, or North County area, to get to Chesterfield, it's going to take you roughly about 30, maybe potentially 40 minutes, give or take. And it really depends on traffic, right? But here's the thing with that. Did you know that the bus routes don't go to Chesterfield, Missouri? Now, I'm speaking from the knowledge of what people have told me in regards to the bus routes. And I have to believe it because all the times that I've been in Chesterfield, Missouri, you all, I have never once seen a bus route. Never once seen a public bus or public transportation, as they say. And so, there was a company out in Chesterfield, right? The company wanted to hire more minorities. Well, this company saw that the targeted audience that they were looking to hire was not in Chesterfield. That this targeted audience was in North City, St. Louis, or North County, St. Louis. Well, this company said, well, you know what? What we're going to do is we're going to pay these individuals $15 to $16 an hour. And not only are we going to pay them $15 to $16 an hour, but we're also going to give them full benefits, you all. They were going to give these individuals full benefits within what was it? I think it was either a month or up to 3 months of them actually being employed with the company. It was a very short time frame. I do know that. And so again, you have $15 to $16 an hour, full benefits, and 401k. I mean, you were going to get vacation right off the bat. A really great package. And you all, this was about, I want to say this was 4 years ago when this particular company made this announcement. And the big problem that they ran into was they saw no true talent within minorities applying for the job. And when I say that, I'm not saying that it was at complete zero. It was, let's say, if we had to compare other ethnicities applying compared to minorities of the black ethnicity or African American ethnicity, what you saw you saw a percentage of potentially 2 to 3% in blacks applying for this particular job. And the company began to ask themselves, well, why is our numbers so low? And when it came down to it, well, it was the simple fact of while you're providing them with all these wonderful benefits, paid vacation, and great pay and things of that nature. The simple fact is these people can't get to that job. So you want to hire more minorities, yet you're not even positioning yourself as a company to be able to cater to that audience. And that's a big thing, you all. That's a really big thing, and I think this is something that companies really have to start taking advantage of, or really noticing that in order for you to breach new markets, this is not something that you can do by saying, hey, I'm going to put this out here and the people are going to come. You have to be able to put something out there, but also position your company in a way where it can be able to understand the targeted audience and cater to the targeted audience needs. This is in both the customer and the employees. So this is where this company failed at, because they had a goal: hire more minorities. We're going to pay these minorities all of this and give them ABC benefits. But minorities weren't hiring. Minorities weren't applying for the job. Why? Because they could not get out to where the job was. There's no public transportation, and the community that was being targeted, that community does not have cars. And so guess what? What happens when you don't have a car and you start to miss days? Guess what? You get fired. No one wants to get fired. It's easier for them to get a job that's 10 to 15 minutes away from them, because they understand that there's at least transportation for them to get to that particular job, instead of having to drive 30 to 40 minutes out to a job that they have no transportation to. There's no public transportation to. And even though they're getting all these great benefits and getting this high pay, is it sustainable? Big word, right? Sustainable, you all. We have to look at this word, sustainable. How can a company put itself in a position to be sustainable, not only for the customers, but for the employees? Look, I don't want to take up too much time, you all. This episode was created by the Wells Fargo CEO stating the fact that there was not enough black talent to recruit from. And the question that I have to pose to the Wells Fargo CEO is, what are you as an organization and CEO doing to position yourself to be able to gain the attention and to be able to cater to the desired talent that you want? Are you even making the necessary moves to be able to approach your targeted audience? Look, you all, the simple fact is, there's more black talent than anybody really knows. There are so many black individuals, men and women, who would blow your mind, you all. And look, I am a professional from top to bottom, and yet there are some black men and women who would blow me out of the water, you all. Like, this is how wonderful the black community is. And so it is offensive for you to say that there is a limited pool of black talent to recruit from. It's offensive. They're there. The question is, are you really looking for them? Or are you just trying to say something to make yourself sound good, but do you sound good? Anyway, look, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Look, I already thank you for listening to me. This episode, again, was to call out the Wells Fargo CEO. I don't think you're doing enough. I don't think you're really looking for the talent that you say you're looking for. They're there. The question is, where are you? This is a give and take relationship. See, that's the thing. The same way that companies are interviewing people, you have to know that people are interviewing you. The same way that the employees or the potential employees have to put on their best first impressions, that company needs to be able to do the same. So you all, I want you to think about this. What is your company doing right now, today, to position itself to be able to cater and meet the needs and demands of not only your customers, but your employees as well? Please drop a comment. I want to hear this. And why do I want to hear this? It's because I believe this conversation is healthy. I believe it will bring some very great thought processing, and I would love to see what others think about what Wells Fargo CEO said. And matter of fact, I am going to leave the article in the show notes for you all. So please go ahead, listen to this podcast, read the show notes, read the article about the Wells Fargo CEO, and leave your comments, you all. Again, thank you for tuning in to the Determined CEO podcast. And guess what? I'll catch you all later in the next episode.